Welcome, welcome. If you're watching live, please say hello. And if you're watching a replay, I'd love a comment below, just hashtag replay, so I know that you've been by. We are talking today about the power of anxiety, because everybody seems to think that anxiety is bad, but anxiety actually has a very noble purpose. It's there to keep us safe. Its intention is to alert us so that we're able to go into action mode, so we can fight, so we can flee. Our blood's rushing to our arms, to our legs, and we're able to then be able to take the action needed to get ourselves to safety. So when we can harness that power, when we can take action, when we can become more effective by not freezing. So the thing is about not freezing, not shutting down, but actually saying, hang on, I'm going to take this power and I'm going to do something with it, channel it into my best productive outcome. So basically, anxiety is triggered by fear, by worry about something, not something that is happening, but something that could happen in the future, that might happen in either the near future or the distant future. So where did these worries, these fears that are within us, where do they actually originate? They originate either from stories that we've been told. So things that we've learned or heard, and perhaps it was our mother or our father or our teachers or something giving us information to try and help us learn how to keep safe in the world. But that's then come up and it's now causing us, worry about our future. The news, the media, think about, when a news story comes up, I can't watch, say, for example, what are those shows, 60 Minutes or A Current Affair or any of those kind of things, because, and I know my parents watch it and they come to me and they're like, they're just so actually anxious within themselves about, things like identity theft or, the terribleness of some other story that they've seen. So I like to leave the news off for the first part and just stay away from that negative media. But you can't help seeing it if you're on social media as well, because there's a lot of it that's posted there. And if you start listening to it, I know I've been in chat groups, especially during COVID. It was like, we can get on Telegram or Signal or WhatsApp, and some of them were actually even like sort of like a faith group or a prayer group or something, but then the conversation would turn. It'd be a story about this person I know or that person I heard about. And so it's really important to stay away from those kinds of stories. So the other part is past experiences. This can be things that actually have happened to us. So if you've had a bad car accident in the past, had a bad relationship in the past, been attacked or robbed, or anything terrible's been happened to you, then you've got an experience there that this could happen again. And it doesn't have to have happened to yourself. It could have happened to someone you know. I know that we get it. The suburb I live in has security that patrols as part of, we pay a monthly subscription for that, and they send us a newsletter, and in the newsletter there'll be like, oh, this address got broken into, the people came in through the garage, I went up into the house while the family was sleeping, I stole the car keys or whatever. And it really does give my partner anxiety, because as he's reading it, he's imagining that someone's come into our house, or that they may come into our house and do the same thing to us. And he then finds that he's not able to relax, that he feels quite anxious in his own home, and then he gets quite frustrated if I don't have the alarm on or I haven't locked the doors or anything like that. So what I want to suggest is that, first of all, we get a bit of self-awareness there. We start to become aware when our mind is going into this fear mode, and start thinking about, is this happening right now? Is it happening right now? Is it like, am I just about to have this definitely happen to me? What's the certainty or probability that this is going to happen? So, for example, for a mugging or an accident or a break-in or anything like that, or a public humiliation, or is it definitely going to happen, or is this just something that I am imagining in my mind that is actually not happening at the moment and probably not going to happen? The second thing is, what can I do to prevent this from happening? Reasonable, logical, what would a normal, average, everyday person with a reasonable level of concern, how would they handle this situation? And then thinking about what physical things can I do to regulate my body, because anxiety is a physical response. So we need to get that nervous system calmed down. If you feel it, if you think it, if you're creating images or thoughts in your mind, you're taking yourself into the future, you're starting to feel like, oh, this would be such a terrible thing, and imagining that this thing's happening, it's going to escalate your body. The cortisol and adrenaline is going to be pumping down into your bloodstream, and you're actually going to feel very, very agitated and uncalm. That's not even a word, but that's how it sort of feels to me. So there's a couple of breathing techniques that we can use, and they are quite effective, but you don't always use them because in that moment you're too busy in the worrying. But if you can get to that self-awareness where you go, this is what I need to do now. So the first one's called box breathing. So it's basically in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, wait for 4. So it's like that box: in, hold, out, wait. And so that is a down regulating. Make sure you're doing big deep breaths, as deep as you can, right into your belly. The other one is called 4-8. So you're doing kind of a faster, bigger breath in, so straight into your belly. 1, 2, 3, 4 in. You're holding for 2, and then when you breathe out, you're just making your mouth into a small hole, and you're breathing out for a longer period of time. And it's called 4-8, but I sometimes do like 4-4-12 or something like that, so that the out breath is that far longer, and that then will regulate your vagus nerve, so stimulates the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is really important. There's a thing called vagal tone, which talks about how responsive your vagus nerve is, and that then can really impact not only your mental health but also your physical health. So your levels of anxiety, not just the response, like where you're going up regulated, but also how quickly you can down regulate. So just say somebody jumped out from behind the wall and you went whoosh, some people can't get back down. Whereas if you've got a very well-toned vagus nerve, you'll be able to down-regulate quite quickly, like, oh, it was just my friend being stupid, whoosh, back down. Whereas some other people are like stuck up there, and then that's just the end of the day. So knowing your triggers, being self-aware, and then knowing what your action is, what action can you take? And that can be a physical action. So for example, if you did have this worry in your body, like get up and say, I feel like really like stressed now that I've thought about this, or read that news article, or had this thought about next week or tomorrow or whatever. And so therefore getting up and just going, I need to move my body, I need to release this energy. And dancing is also a way to stimulate that vagus nerve, get that vagal tone up. You can do star jumps, you can do a physiology of joy. So just like throwing your hands in the air, like you'll see if you've ever been to like one of those rah-rah happy clapper Anthony Robbins type things, like jump out of your seat, throw your hands in the air and scream, hooray, like, gratitude, joy, whatever, just getting all of that. And after a while, you're just going to go like, oh, man, I just want to sit down. I'm just over this anxiety feeling now. So just being aware that you can use your physical movement to give yourself a sort of like a different feeling in your body. Another thing is our olfactory, which is our sense of smell. And there's a lot of people into essential oils. I am not going to pretend that I'm a guru in essential oils, but I do know that a lot of people with anxiety, they drop them on their head, they put them in their hands, they cup their hands around their face. Now, a simple one that is really commonly used for anxiety is lavender. It is a calming scent. With these essential oils, they're actually cold pressed, or whatever the process is, from plants. They are the actual energy from the plant. And so as these tiny particles go into your nose, they're actually absorbed into your body, into your bloodstream. You can use them topically. They go through your skin. And a lot of I know a friend of mine's very much into young living, and their office is not far from my house here in the hills area, and they actually have really, really high ethical practices in the way that they handle and source their oils. And I know that they are ingestible as well. So this can be really, really effective for mental health and calming anxiety. And if you are interested in that, just send me a message and I'll connect you with someone who will be able to help you with getting the right oils for you. Another thing we can do is eye patterns. This is really interesting because there's your left brain and your right brain, and these work separately, basically. They have different strengths and different functions. And what you can do is, like, say, for example, they talk about left brains all logic and reasoning, and right brains all emotion and whatever. So what you can do is you can just, again, so the vagus nerve actually runs from the base of the cranium down here, and you can actually put your hands there. So you're opening up your chest here, you've got your hands out here, and you just hold your eyes 30 seconds to one side. So I'm there now. So you just hold it 30 seconds there, and I won't do it for the full amount of time. But when you've done that, just take a deep breath in again, and then move to the other side and just hold it as far to that side as you can, and just hold that there. And what that does is it's actually, and you can go back to the other side and then back to the other side again. So just holding 30 seconds on each side. And what that does is it just brings those parts of the brain into connecting and just being able to calm the nervous system down, stimulating that vagus nerve, getting our bodies regulated. Now, I've heard a thing to say that you'll know which side of your brain you're using, and I'm giving this as a human interest point. You can Google it and find the actual facts, because I'm not quite sure which way it goes. But basically, if one of your nostrils is blocked, it means one of the sides of your brain is actually, and so if you start doing maths, you might notice that your emotional, one side will be blocked. And if you start getting really into feelings, the other side might be blocked. I don't know the facts on that one, but I have sometimes wondered when I couldn't breathe out of one side of my nose, am I being, very left or very right-brained in this moment? So another regulating kind of thing that you can do is to think of a memory that was really powerful and joyful and positive. I can think of, times where I've been really elated, really happy, really calm, really at peace. I remember, Nick and I's first kiss, for example, or, with the kids, the little memories that you have when they were born, or, just lovely memories that you can visit back to. And so that's always good to be able to take yourself out of the fear space, put yourself into another time, which is not a worry time. So make sure it's a happy time. You're not going to go down ruminating and reminiscing about different things like that. Things about friends, babies, pets. Pets are always good. You can even just remember a time when you held a little puppy, or, something that you enjoyed having a cuddle with, or where you felt really safe. Music is a really big mood enhancer. Now, again, like the Anthony Robbins stuff, but I also go to Hillsong. I'm what's called an open-minded, spiritual, Christian, open to all things, embracing spirituality kind of person. But I absolutely love going there, because as they take you in, they start right on time, and the surge of power as the music comes up is just, they start off with really powerful uplift, and then they slowly take you down until the whole room is kind of like very much. And I use that time to go deep within, and I notice that I tingle here on my forehead, and I'm going right inside. And being a hypnotherapist, I can use that moment to create in me connection to anything that I need to work through. I can, put into my heart intentions for the people that I love and care about, who might have things that they're working through at the time. And I really breathe into that moment and really connect. And so I find that really powerful. But you can also just use it at home. You can put on a song that you have a recollection for a happy, high energy moment. I remember I was 16 years old, so I was out of home really, really young. But I remember this one time I was at home alone. It was before I had my daughter, and I was cleaning the house, and I put on this song. And we had no money, so we didn't have a lot of technical equipment. But for whatever reason, at this point, we had some kind of radio, and there was this song on. It was My Angel is a Centerfold. And it was like bumping out through the house, and I was cleaning, and I was just remember just leaping around. I think I had rubber gloves on. It was, listen, I was so cool, and the energy was through me. I felt so motivated to do the cleaning because I had this music, and that song always, every time I hear that song, it just takes me back to that particular house in that particular suburb, in that particular time, and that particular feeling of that, energized upstate, where I felt like this is it. I'm going to clean the whole house, and it's going to be spotless, and I'm just going to feel so good. So that is such a positive and powerful thing. To be able to shift your energy and be able to manage how your body's feeling, because that's all anxiety is. It's just a feeling in our body, isn't it? Now, I want to talk about emotions quickly, because our tendency is that emotions, there's a saying that says we will do absolutely anything to not feel bad, which is true, because it doesn't feel good to feel bad. And the thing about emotions is that they are there for a reason. They have a message to tell us. It's like, what you just did wasn't good. That's like guilt and shame, or you perhaps don't do that again in the future. But the thing is that not all the messages that we receive from our emotions are the truth. So, for example, you stand up, you speak something, and you sit down, and then you feel this wash of like absolute embarrassment. You sounded stupid, you look stupid, you just shouldn't have done that. You should have just kept your mouth shut. Why did you even say that? Those things don't need to be true. That can just be lies that your unconscious mind is bringing to you. But it's really important to actually, instead of pushing that away, is to welcome it in and say, hey, I feel you. I feel your embarrassment. I hear your words. I hear your negative, critical words. But you know what? I wouldn't speak like that to another human being. I would never speak to my child like that, or a friend like that. I would never say, hey, you sounded so stupid. Why didn't you just sit down and shut up? So it's good to recognize when we're actually still in a toxic and abusive relationship with ourselves, and where those feelings are coming up because of something that needs to be worked through. So all feelings are there to be felt. They have a message. Being aware of what is this emotion, giving it a name, find it in our body, see where is it, notice the intensity, breathe through it, right? Whatever it is, like this absolute fear, this absolute anxiety, find it. It's in my gut, it's in my solar plexus, it's in my throat. And imagine you just breathing it out. Take a deep breath into your belly. Breathe it out, and notice what words come up. Notice what images or what memories, because sometimes that feeling isn't even about something that's happening now. It can be about something that happened a very long time ago. And it's good to recognize that and say, okay, well, I'm going to turn that feeling up just out of curiosity. Like at the moment, I feel really uncomfortably upset, and I feel it in my whatever part. And I'm going to turn it up now. I'm going to just turn it up to a 20, and really feel it, and just notice as you breathe that out at the end, that this energy doesn't need to be trapped in our bodies. Processing emotion is something that we are not taught how to do well. It's like, at times when we were young, we felt stuff. Our parents didn't know how to handle it. They didn't know how to teach us. Our parents might have had emotions that they couldn't cope with. They might have snapped at us, snarled at us, go away, I'm stressed right now, or whatever. Emotional processing is a whole topic unto itself. But it's just good to know that those things have a purpose, that they actually need to be felt and released, and that we need to uncover the lies that are sitting behind those emotions and say, like, no, actually, you know what? I choose not to engage in that language with myself, because that's not going to help me in any way, and it's just going to cause me to feel bad, and it's going to cause me to feel scared, and I don't deserve to feel scared. I deserve to feel powerful. And taking that right back through the loop to where we started is that we can harness the power of anxiety. We can harness the power of fear, and we can harness the power of worry. And especially when we just put the floodlights on it and say, hey, I see you. I see the fear. I see what you're afraid of. Just using my partner with the break-ins and whatever. I see your fear that you perhaps would be in a situation where you can't protect your family, and that you might have to live with that for the rest of your life. But let's have a real look at what's really going on here, and do whatever we can to make ourselves safe, but also recognize that we do not need to feel afraid, because living in fear about something that may never happen is the complete opposite to actually being empowered, and it also destroys our experience of life. We can't feel good in the world if we're continuously feeling afraid. It doesn't operate, and any decision that we make from fear is going to be restrictive, small. It's going to stop us from living. And realistically, what we need to do is cast fear aside, look at the risks realistically, and say, all right, I'm going to take a risk here. I'm going to just put myself out there, and I'm just going to know that whatever happens, that everything will be okay, and I'll be able to cope. Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful week. Have a beautiful month. Engage, reach out. If you want any more information about anything, just let me know. And if you are watching this on YouTube, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I'd love to have you in the channel, and I also appreciate your support. Have a beautiful day.